Okay, I'm gonna do a short story time here. I got some notes, but I'm just gonna be mostly shooting from the hip. And what we're doing is my wife is at work, and I was supposed to go to work, but I told her I couldn't go because I have too much tree work to do today. But I just got the urge to make a video, so I'm just gonna leave all my tree work stuff on, and if she comes in unexpectedly, I'm just gonna slam the computer down and run back out. Just say I was getting a drink of water. Okay? Run back outside and continue my tree work. Like nothing ever happened. Okay. This story time is what I see from my brainstorming, the 3 possible timelines that lay ahead of us. Okay? The first timeline is 3 possible timelines. First, the background here is this brilliant work of art by my wife. She says it's called Parasite People. I really enjoy it. I wish there was a way I could make it like better fitted to the background, but I can't. So I'm just gonna cover half of it up and have it the right side of the screen here. Parasite People, so good. I don't know if that's watercolor or just colored pencil or what. I'll look at it again or ask her. Okay, 3 possible timelines. Number 1. First I'll say why? Because I have felt like I get to most of the time I'm just having a blast out here in the woods, and I feel bad because I know a lot of other people are having a really hard time, and I feel guilty sometimes. I just be having way too much damn fun sometimes, just laughing hysterically out in the woods. When I go to work at the farm, I just be laughing all by myself in the tractor, just having a blast. People are just dying left and right, succumbing to mental illness. I got friends, family, people calling me all the time, telling me they're going to kill themselves. I say, look, listen, bud. You'll be dead soon enough anyway, all right? No need to rush headlong into it. It's always right around the corner. I say, no, and knowing you, it's around the next corner. So just relax. Easy does it, you know? But, yeah. So what was I talking about? I'd be having a blast out in the woods. Oh yeah, my 3 timelines. Number 1, things just... that's what I was going to say. I'd be thinking, but when I do have to go out into the world, I can understand why people are having such a hard time. Because I have quite a hard time too. When I have to deal with this bullshit and I have to go into the city or deal with people at all, or even go to the store. It will put you on edge, and I say, I'm never scared or anything like that, but I'm just like, basically my feeling about the whole thing is like, can we just get to the fucking point already? Like, can we just get to the goddamn point already? Like, I'm sick of it. Like, it's just an endless, like, crescendo of suspense, you know? Jesus, my microphone's going crazy. Sound alright still? Hey! Yeah, I think it's alright. But anyway, what the only thing I can think of is like, why is this so absurd? I saw an article today, Coronito. Aaron Rodgers has Coronito because he's unprocedured. And I was like, I feel they just really want people to blow their brains out. Like, that's all they're trying to do. And why? Oh yeah, why is it so absurd though? Like, and the only reason I can think of for the absurdity level is that the people at the top, at the other end, are just as tired of this bullshit as we are, and they have that same feeling that I have. Like, can we just get to the fucking point already, please? Like, whatever's gonna happen, just fucking do it. Just get to the fucking point. And they must feel the same way. That must be the reason for the absurdity. Possible timeline, number 1. Never comes to a head. Just continues on. Our kids all just think we're idiots. They all just get procedured. They stick us all in some kind of into some kind of nursing homes or something. Just stow us away somewhere. And we just move into the brave new world. And it takes basically another 50 to 100 years or something. Another 1 to 2 generations. Until we cycle back again to where people are like, I think something fucked up might be going on. Does it seem like something's fucked up? Is something weird going? What does this seem? Seems like something's fucking weird. Like, is this right? It's timeline 1. I would say least likely, in my opinion. But that would be sort of like the upheavals of the past, like the 1960s, where we're living in like 20s through 50s, like nuclear family, traditional Western society, America. And then the 60s hits, and all these kids are just completely ripped out of the traditions of their families. The whole world's turned upside down. And the parents just have no recourse at all. They just lose all their kids. And society just takes like a hard left turn into psychosis. And all the old school, like traditional families are just like idiots that we shove into nursing homes and stuff. For some reason, it just reminded me of me and my wife just rewatched that movie Mars Attacks. They're like, ack, 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 ack. And we're like, don't, we come in peace, don't run. And they're like killing everyone. And they're like, there must have been some misunderstanding. They're like, yes, that was a misunderstanding. We would like to apologize and address Congress. Shit is so funny. Oh yeah, but anyway, at the end of the movie, they just obliterate the military, all the politicians, like all the idiot people, and the only thing that can stop them is just the weird kid that loves his grandma and music. That's the only thing that can stop him is loving your grandmother and music. And I was like, watching the movie, I was like, yeah, something like that. Something like that. I said, I agree, something like that. People be like, things are very dire, man. Do you think you should just be, losing your goddamn mind out in the woods and making music? I say, yes. I think that's exactly what I should be doing. I'm not being sarcastic at all. I really feel like that's the best use of my time. So that's timeline 1. Things just continue on. Brave New World. We go into a nursing home. And everyone forgets that shit's fucked up for another like 50 to 100 years. And history would suggest that is the most likely timeline. Luckily, we've all already agreed that history is bullshit. So for us, that's the least likely timeline. Not going to happen. Number 2, huge event. Make 7-Eleven look like a firecracker. Huge event. Multiple simultaneous. Look, I have one glove on. I had to take one glove off so I could work the computer. Huge event. Life becomes, I have written down here, life becomes very real, very exciting. Life becomes a real action-adventure movie. I'm Mel Gibson. Turns out, I'm Mel Gibson. Life becomes a real action-adventure movie. Me and my baby blue Mel Gibsons. We're just really mixing it up. I'm out there, baby blue Mel Gibsons. I got paint on my face, ashes. I have my bow and arrow. Massive casualties. Minimum 30%, all the way up to 90-95% casualty, fatality rate, okay? That's timeline 2. And remember, this is just story time. Remember. Because if it's not story time, it could just be like a checklist to like 302 me. So this is just story time. I'm like AJ. It's performance art, all right? Okay, so timeline 2, massive casualty. I'm Mel Gibson. Life becomes a real-life action-adventure movie. Things get real exciting, real fast. Oh, we got a question from the audience? Yes, sir. What? You may say, if there's going to be massive what makes you think you're going to survive? Because it's my story, so obviously I'm going to survive. What kind of stupid question is that? Maybe you can survive in your story, but in my story, I survive, and I'm Mel Gibson. I don't know what happens in your story. Timeline number 3. Absurdity level increases exponentially until everyone snaps. Never stops. The absurdity level just continually increases until everyone just completely snaps. Either into total insanity, ultimate suicide. This is the suicide programming timeline, by the way. Which, like, I didn't watch anything for years. I haven't had cable in, like, 10, 11 years. But, like, I don't know, a few months ago, my mom gave me, she's like, you want my Netflix password? I was like, yeah, fuck it, I'll look at Netflix or whatever. I started looking at it, I was like, wow. I was like, this is extremely dark. I said, there's just blaring. This is just blaring 24/7 suicide programming. Netflix. I was like, every show is like, wow, I'm a crazy teenage girl just trying to get along in the world. Kill yourself. It's like almost sheriff in the Old West. Kill yourself. He's like, I'm an office worker. My office worker friends are wacky. It's like, blow your brains out. I was like, Jesus, this is dark. Absurdity level increases until everyone snaps, either into insanity, ultimately suicide, this is the suicide timeline, or into reality, full sentient self-awareness, and a recognition that all media, history, authority, institutions of all forms, government, religious, historical, scientific, artistic, medical, etc., are all bullshit, literally imaginary, nonsensical fantasy product of inanimate machinery. I'll just read what I wrote here. History suggests number 1 is the most likely. Luckily, we've all already agreed history is bullshit. Yeah, I know, I already said that. I'm using that joke twice. I personally am split between number 2 and number 3, but deep down, I think I probably lean towards timeline number 2. But this is probably due to my own mind control programming, which is the violent, huge event, massive casualty timeline, where I am like Mel Gibson. Number 3, the absurdity level it continues to increase into infinity until everyone absolutely snaps. Number 3 is that's number 3. Number 3 is the true Illuminati card game timeline, where with where the men with their hands on the levers. I thought I heard my wife pull up. Where the men with their hands on the levers of the inanimate machinery controlling the realm are as tired of this bullshit as we are. Let me read that again. Number 3 is the true Illuminati card game timeline, where the men with their hands on the levers of the inanimate machinery controlling the realm are as tired of this bullshit as we are. This timeline, number 3, is what Robert Anton Wilson would call immanentizing the eschaton. Immanentizing the eschaton. And actually, number 2 and number 3 could both represent an essentially artificial immanentization of the eschaton, with the difference being primarily between number 2 being a fear perspective, and number 3 being more of a sort of excited, appreciative perspective, or between a perspective of seriousness, atheist, materialist, rationalism, and rather than a number 3 being more of like a playful, spiritual, fundamentally irrational perspective. That's all I've written, but I did want to say something else. Yeah, I know, I don't want to make total light of it. I know people are having a hard time, but I am 99% of the time. I'm just having the best time of my life out here. Seriously. I'm just living my best life. I'm having a damn blast. And I know I'm not supposed to be. I know I feel bad. I feel bad sometimes. But look, I've been through it. My best friend was just killed. I'm not allowed to see any of my family. I am banned. Lifetime banned from all family events. And I told my mom, this isn't funny either, but I say a lot of things are in bad taste. She said, well, you know, you're not allowed to come to Thanksgiving, you and your wife. I'm sorry, maybe we could do another thing. And then she started talking about, I'm not allowed to come to Christmas. And I said, look. Honestly, same thing with like her extended family also. And I said, Mom, listen, don't feel bad. You go ahead without me. Honestly, never being allowed to see any of our families again is a huge relief. And I can't remember if I don't think she laughed. My wife said, don't say stuff like that to your mom. It's mean. I said, what do you want me to do? You gotta laugh. But it's not like I don't have problems, just like anyone else. But I just snapped and gave up on my life like years ago. Now I'm just enjoying myself. I'm just really, I don't care what happens. I'll be appreciating the shit. I'll be having a blast no matter what. I'm like the dude surfing in Apocalypse Now, where the mortars are hitting and just bodies hanging. Yo, that was what I wanted to say that too. You know that movie Apocalypse Now? This is my interpretation. They want like for the normie, it's about between Marlon Brando and Martin Sheen, like good and evil. He's like Antichrist type character, which is interesting too, because Marlon Brando says what finally awoke him to the insanity, realizing that it was all pure insanity, was, I think he said during like World War II or World War I or whatever, they have to travel deep, like weeks into the deep bush in the jungle to procedure like uncontacted tribes against polio. And they come back like a couple weeks later and they have cut all their own kids' arms off into a giant pile. Like, that was their level of commitment to not let that into their world. Listen, I'm not saying to do that. I'm just saying it's interesting now looking back at that movie, Apocalypse Now. And Marlon Brando said, it hit me like a diamond bullet in my forehead. He said the clarity of purpose of those men. He said they were better than us. Like, that was their commitment to not letting like that into their world, you know? And Marlon Brando said that's also what woke him up to the insanity of it. And you know, he kind of makes before he lets Martin Sheen kill him, he's like, yeah, I'm gonna let you murder me, but first I want you to understand what I'm doing here. He's like, I'm not really crazy. I'm just doing this, I'm just playing the bad guy to force these idiots sitting in their cupola villas eating roast beef while this is going on. He's like, I want to force them to see the horror, the absolute insanity. I want to force them to see insanity, that this is insanity. He's like, this is all just an act. I'm just an actor, you know? I'm doing this for everyone's own good. Martin Sheen, like, somewhat understands, kills him anyway, just to act it out. Anyway, they're not the main character of the movie. The real main character of the movie is the surfer dude. I think his name's Kelly or Kerry or I don't know. It could be something completely different. He's the main character though, where he's just wandering like, wow, wide-eyed through all this chaos. There's bodies hanging up, shit exploding, people heads rolling down the stairs, and he just like dances through the whole thing, the whole movie, without a scratch on him. He's a surfer. He's just like surfing the waves, like he's just an observer. He doesn't worry about what happens to him or what. He's just observing. He's like not invested, and that's what I feel like. I'm just surfing. I'm just enjoying the ride. Like, it doesn't matter where I end up. I'm not trying to, you know, there's all this shit like escaping the Matrix. We have to escape the Matrix. We have to get to the new Earth, or to heaven, or be raptured, or whatever. Like, I'm having a blast. I'm not in any rush to escape the Matrix, or get to the new Earth, or whatever, or heaven. But also, if I find myself there, I'm sure that'll be cool too. That'll be a blast too, but I'm not in any rush, you know? I'm enjoying my time here. I'm just surfing. I'm just surfing these waves. I should probably pause for a second. Let me gather my thoughts. I'm really going overboard here. See, here's the thing. I'm not going to pause. You think I'm cool to know, pretty cool person to know over the internet, which is true. I am a cool person to know. But I'm also a real handful in real life. That's why there's only like 2 people who even know me or deal with me anymore. Like my one best friend who's not dead and my wife, and that's it. Like, my wife will wake up, like, come out at 6:30 to get her coffee, and I already have the Bible open. I'm like wide-eyed like a crackhead, and I'm like, let me read you this passage from Ezekiel chapter 8. I'm like, remember when we watched Westworld? Wasn't that weird how like they're in the underground base, but it's like hell, and like the dudes working down there like demons, and it's like parallels like our military underground bases and like COG programs, and like how people that say they were in MK Ultra or abducted by aliens say they were taken to these underground bases, and we like remember it and we have dreams of it, but we can never like, and all these alternate memories, and it's like nothing ever changes. It's just like skins on a video game. Like, let me read this chapter from Ezekiel chapter 8. How in a vision, God brings Ezekiel to a secret door he uncovers in the temple and takes him to secret rooms and like underground base under the temple in Jerusalem, where the 70 evil ancients of Israel have made a covenant with death and hell, are in the secret rooms. They each man with his censer in his hand in the chamber of his imagery, with chimeras and abominable beasts crawling around. It's like all these genetic splicing experiments that the government does in the underground bases, and it's like nothing ever changes. Like, that's hell now. And my wife's like, dude, can I ever have like my first cup of coffee or just relax or enjoy my day without you just spouting off like a crackhead endlessly about psychotic bullshit? And I'm like, yes, you're right, I'm sorry. I have a hard time containing myself. Sometimes I get overexcited. And they'd be like, why are you always into all this negative shit? I was like, I don't think it's negative. I find it all extremely exciting. I'd be having a good ass time. Yeah, but like I said, don't think that like, oh, you're just having fun while everyone else is living in hell, like, because you just get to do whatever you want. Like, no, I don't get to do whatever I want, trust me. Like, 90% of everyone I know is dead. I had some stuff happen to me growing up that I'll tell you what, not appropriate to get into on YouTube, but there was large parts of my life that were like some literal haunted hayride type shit going on. Trust me. And it's still going on, honestly. They're dropping like flies. They're going left and right. It's still a real horror movie going on, but I just don't care anymore. I just be having a blast no matter what. And I'm gonna make music no matter what and blow these aliens' heads off. And no matter what happens, yeah, okay, so that's what I was gonna say. Timeline 1, that's not for us. History tells us timeline 1 just continues on endlessly, Brave New World. History tells us that's the most likely. That's not gonna happen. At least not for us. History is bullshit. That's what they want you to think is gonna happen. Event number 2, huge event, massive casualties, massive fatalities. Mel Gibson, My Baby Blue Mel Gibson's real life action movie. 90% casualty rates. Yes, that sounds exciting, but that is a result of our programming. We don't really want that to happen. Number 3, I view as the most likely, the Illuminati card game timeline, immanentizing the eschaton, where absurdity just increases infinitely until everyone until everyone snaps, basically. I don't have to say what happens when they snap. I don't have to say that again. That is probably the most realistic. That seems like what's really going on. But also, like I said, there's a nature to reality where it's never going to be what you expect. So if you think all 3 of these sound horrible and scary, you should thank me for saying them. Because just because I said them means that it's never going to happen exactly like I said it. So don't worry about it. Because I've noticed that that's part of how reality works. It's never going to be quite what you expect. There's always going to be an M. Night Shyamalan twist at the end. So I'm looking forward to that. And I got to get back outside and check.